All right, everybody, we are live. It is, let's see here, May 18th, Tuesday. Says we're live. HeartlandDefenders.com, Heartland Defenders on YouTube, and we are on the F Book. That's all I'll say. You can find us. We have a public page with some nice, good information. Yeah, I hear an echo. Um, I can hear my annoying voice. Anyways, check it out. There's some good information. I hope you stopped and checked out the old school uh, survival boot camp. And let's bring Jacob and Mike on. Hang on, button here. There you guys are.
Hello, give me a minute. I'm just trying to share.
I got
Yeah.
a little son.
Technology is not cooperating for some reason.
Yeah, I got shared on my Facebook before it finally, the time hit.
Yeah, it won't. Oh, okay.
Hi, Dolly.
It was hiding Facebook from me for some reason.
And
Probably
Dave.
knows.
Right? It always does that. Well, Facebook, I don't think likes us sharing our YouTube stuff. I don't know.
I can't share to
I'm
Facebook
noticing
because
that.
I ain't on Facebook.
Yeah.
I took that power away from them.
Nope, we're there. All right.
Nope.
All right.
So we're
I think I
there.
got it.
So
think I got
my question is going to be, well, how was the weekend?
That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead, Jacob. Do yours. I'm gonna finish fiddling.
Well, fiddle away, sir. No, it was good. Friday, I mean, it was a 3-day event. Each day there was a couple of things different from them. Lots of training. I mean, there was a lot. The tents they had were the like 3-post center post tents, the heavy vinyl. There was probably, what would you say, Cosper? 175 to 100 chairs in each one of them.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. There are a couple of smaller ones, but most of them about that size.
Most of them, 75 to 100 people in attendance, and most of the time they were full.
Nice.
Yeah. Fuller than I thought they'd be, for sure.
All the way till Sunday. The event.
Yeah, it's definitely slowed down Sunday, but
It slowed down each day. You could definitely tell that people got what they came for, and then fewer came on Saturday, and fewer even still on Sunday. But talking to Tara, we're planning on doing it again next year. We were invited to come again next year, so.
Yeah,
I feel like we reached a lot of people.
Nice.
Yeah, that was definitely a different experience. Doing it live.
Yeah. we do it live, but we did it live.
Yeah, it was definitely different, but it was funny. We kind of I think Jacob and I mean we couldn't get Palmer to shut up, obviously.
Whole time.
Just constant.
Whole time.
But it was fun. It was really, I mean, it was more of a discussion than a speech teaching thing. Almost, I mean, pretty similar to what we do here, basically. Yeah. But and it was a little awkward at first, but then Jacob and I pretty much played off each other just like we do here.
Nice.
So it wound up actually being pretty.
I saw a lot of people.
It was pretty impressive.
The irony to it is we kind of said the first day, Know Your Rights isn't really a best title for this, but even still, I saw plenty of people pull out a notebook and a pen and start jotting down notes. And, I mean, they was picking up information. They were seeing.
Yeah, we spun it pretty good. Again, when we originally, that was kind of the funny part. Friday we're sitting there. Friday, and kind of going over what we sent them, and then we walked over and saw the calendar, and it said, "Know Your Rights," and we're like, "Well, who's doing that at 1?"
But we did the talking, and everybody that was there was able to take a Constitution with them if they wanted to. That's nice. What we do.
Yeah. And we got really, actually, we did again, very similar to the show. The first 2 days, the last day kind of went way off script because there was only 3 people.
Right.
There was 4.
Yeah.
Four.
Oh, four. Yeah, one walked out on us.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, she came over. She said, "I gotta go. There's
It
another
was
class.
in all
I
fairness.
appreciate you."
In all fairness, there was a very nice girl that we had talked to the day before, who had not come to see us yet, and we did, in all fairness, kind of go off into her conversation that we had started the day before.
Oh, okay.
So it was a little
But
off,
the funny part too is that it pertained to 2 out of the 3 people that was there, and the third lady, the third lady, she was nice about it. She was jotting down the notes from what all we were saying. Didn't say, she injected a question, but she didn't say, this topic doesn't cover me.
Yeah. The fourth lady was kind of, she had 2 places she wanted to be. And at the beginning, now if she had stuck around, probably we did eventually get into other stuff, but regardless, I mean, the first 2 days, I don't know, what do we have, 30, 40 people each day? Ish?
I was telling Jeremy before, I would say there was probably 45 to 50 on the Friday, right. And then we were probably like 35 to 45.
That's about right.
On Saturday, and again 4 to 3 on Sunday.
But good. I mean, really good conversations. We basically talked about doing something, getting involved. Of course, I talked about the case that we're going to get into in our next segment.
You got to remember.
Strange.
You got to remember, on Friday there was a gentleman there doing a constitutional class.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
Only on Friday. Mm-hmm. And again, like I said, people from Friday were the same people that were there on Saturday, minus a few, and the same people there on Sunday, minus a few. It was a 3-day event. Well, we got through the grapevine on Friday that the constitutional class, the takeaway from the constitutional class was just do something.
Yeah,
that was what everybody was getting out of that constitutional class. Obviously the Constitution, but the take home was do something. Get involved, do something.
Yeah, and so we kind of did play off of that as people told us about it. We were like, okay, we can do this. We can add this. Yeah, we flowed pretty well with the. Well, and it was interesting, and I think it was the second day actually. There was a guy who basically did that. He would, he was kind of where a lot of us are, not knowing what to, where get involved, blah, blah, blah. And so he wound up actually running for a commissioner in his city.
Oh, nice.
And did you say he is or is running?
Yeah. No, he did. He became
got it.
That one guy was. Yeah. Yeah, he actually did it.
So, yeah, and that's a lot of, going into the prepping side of the whole, the survival camp was that some prepping stuff in certain townships and counties is against the law, like collecting rainwater. Yeah. It's actually theft of water because the rainwater is the city's water. However that happens, I don't understand how water becomes somebody's property.
You know what's the best part of this whole weekend? Well, we were it was either before or after we had done our talk, because we only did our talk between 1 and 2.
Yep.
But me and Cosper were down at the booth. We were sitting there behind the table. Somebody walked up, looked at shirts, and they were looking at shirts, and me and Cosper and everybody was talking with them. He goes, this guy just kind of goes, "You're familiar. You look familiar." And I said, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "Are you a smoker?" And Dolly obviously just started chuckling, and he goes, like a chain smoker. And Cosper goes, "Yeah." And I went, "Well, I only really do that on the videos." And he goes, "That's where I've seen you." So there is people that watch us.
Yeah.
Didn't recognize Cosper though.
Yeah.
Didn't recognize Mike, but recognized me just because I do this all the time.
Yeah.
And he said it was the smoking and the voice.
Yeah. So it was. Yeah. I mean, there was. I don't know if there wasn't too many people that because there were, and I'm surprised. I think there'll be a few more as the weeks go on, but there was quite a few people, and I'm sure people will forget. I'm sure we'll get texts and stuff tomorrow, messages like, "Damn it, I was gonna watch it, I forgot."
Yeah,
right.
So, but it was all in all though. I mean, it was a good weekend. The group did well. Everybody did. Sold shirts, and it was a little more. I don't know, and I didn't get to catch as much. I walked around a little bit and caught pieces and bits. I didn't actually sit down for any of the classes because we were all trying to watch the booth and stuff too. And really, we were almost kind of like half prepping beforehand because we really did it much like the show. We kind of threw some topics out there and we just kind of rolled with it. We really didn't prep.
Yep.
There was no when script. I saw it, there was a lot more. I want to say there was a little bit. It seemed a little bit more homesteader presence.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I would say.
A lot of people that came by the booth, they would say, I'm homeschooling my kids, or I started homeschooling my kids with the pandemic.
It was a little different crowd than it's like, I guess to some degree I expected a little bit more of the gun show type crowd, and there really wasn't.
No.
I mean, it was a totally
but does that
different
not
crowd.
lead credence? Does that not lead credence to the conversations we were having over the weekend, where there's just so much diversity in the system?
Oh, for sure.
And how many people came up to us like, we just all need to work together. Like, we all need to get together, and it's like, okay, we're trying.
Oh, Palmer. Palmer's just trying to start stuff now. Look at his comment right now.
Now that he has a voice.
Scenery, huh?
Jacob will get it.
Now that he has a voice, he's going to start stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah. Turn off, Palmer. Oh wait, you wouldn't shut up. That's right.
Yeah. The scenery was good.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful hills.
Country folk are always good.
Yeah, they were hills.
Good time. They know how to live.
Yeah.
Cosper did not hand over a bottle of water. He kept the water to himself.
No, I saw Hakeem several times, and I was so tempted. I had bottles in my hand several times, and
if you get that joke, let us know in the comments.
He just seemed like too nice of a guy.
Couldn't do it to him, huh?
No, and again, like it probably was about the 8 millionth time someone had probably done it to him. Mm-hmm. So I was like, because he was like, way too. I think you never know when you meet people like that. If they're gonna be a little, like bigger than kind of like, hey, I was on TV. I mean, first thing he was just all like, hey, how you doing? And then the last time hey, how good? Glad you guys have a good time, brother. I mean, it was like, you're just way too nice.
His booth assist, I don't know if it's his assistant or if it's his intern or
very nice girl.
But she was the one every time I would walk past hearing that he was on this show, he was on that show. I don't think I ever heard him once say I was on TV or I did this.
No, she was definitely his hype man.
Yeah,
he did.
He was doing the training because he did what 2 or 3 classes every day.
Yeah, and I actually saw I didn't see his classes ever, but then I saw a bunch of pictures and they actually look kind of interesting. I'm a little disappointed I didn't take the time to walk over and at least see.
Maybe next year.
The
best part from that weekend, I'm not even paying attention to time, but the best part of that weekend, and we can switch over topic, but the best part of that weekend was Sunday. Was it Sunday he was there, Cosper? You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, no. Was
it Sunday or was it Saturday?
I think it was Saturday afternoon.
I think it was Saturday afternoon. Yeah.
Yes.
We come walking.
No. It was Sunday because it was after Blystone.
No, that was Friday. So I think it was Saturday night.
Okay, then it was Saturday. You're right. Yeah.
So we come walking out at 2:00. We finished up our speech up there, and I see a sheriff, another dude in just regular clothes, and then another dude in regular clothes, gray beard, hat on,
tattooed everywhere,
on his head, tattoos up and down his arm. I'm like, that looks like Blystone. Maybe he came back incognito. Why? It looked like Blystone, but stockier,
but built.
Didn't think nothing of it. Brain wasn't like, oh my God, that's it. Mikey Rudd talked to this guy because while we were doing our speech or our talk for an hour,
came by our booth.
Sheriff and this guy and the other guy come by our booth, and Mikey talked to him for time. Holly talked to him. Dolly may have talked. Everybody may have talked to him.
Everybody knew who he was, but
Nobody said a word. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody was like, I recognize you from something. No, nothing. They just talked to him.
We did recognize him.
We get back to the booth. I said, I think that's Blystone. Cosper's like, no, it's not. Cosper, me, Palmer, didn't know who it was, didn't think about it. Get back to the booth. We're sitting down there. We're finishing up the day. The event coordinator comes rolling up, and she's like, oh, yeah, did you guys see Dave Canterbury? Dude, he's from around here. He didn't come this time, but he came out incognito, and he's planning on possibly coming next year for the event to do stuff for the event. Did you guys see him? And we're like, that's who it was.
Yeah, I did see him. He was standing in front of me. I had a brief conversation with him, by the food thing, not like talking, but we were, back and he was talking to the guys inside about his time in Japan and stuff. And I'm like, I'm 3 feet from the dude, and it's like freaking killing me. I'm like, who is this dude? I know who he is. And you know what? And that's my fault. I should have right then. And I mean, literally, I was 3 feet. We were at the same food stand. It was just me and him. And I'm like,
oh, I've got books from him. That's why I recognize the name really well. Because I've got a few.
I recognize the name, but I'm telling you right now, you look at him in the face.
Yeah.
No. What? No.
If you want to go gray man, go talk to Dave Canterbury.
No, I'm going to tell you what. From the shows, I've seen him on, I don't know how many videos.
I watch him right now on TikTok. He's on TikTok. I watch him right now and his knot tying and knife sharpenings and
everything. For sure.
So that's within the last months, weeks, days.
Oh, for sure.
And I didn't even recognize him.
But here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. After seeing him in person, I never realized from watching as many videos as I've watched, I never realized he was that tatted up.
Right.
Never.
I think on TV
positive
they
it was
had
knuckles to sleeve.
He is sleeved up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, okay, whatever.
So if you weren't there, you missed the opportunity to catch one of those great survivalists that we've watched and paid money for materials. I mean, God, Palmer pulled out a cup from Pathfinder. That's his company.
Yeah.
If he was at our booth, I'm surprised he didn't say something.
No kidding, it wasn't in his cup right there.
There's a Pathfinder cup right there.
Oh man.
We are 3 minutes over.
Okay.
Situational awareness there. We're definitely gonna have to talk to him about that.
Right.
Yeah, situational awareness. Come on,
good.
man. Your cup's right there. You should have said something.
Oh, he probably noticed it. He just didn't want to be the hey.
He was probably like, these fools are talking to me with my cup on their table and they don't even know.
Right.
Too funny.
So what happened? What happened with the
Coniglia? So
ruling came out.
And funny, this is funny, Jeremy, because every part of our speech, included this story, the Coniglia story,
the one you've been talking about in past episodes of the show. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So and we used it this weekend at the event as a good portion of our show.
Nice.
Our live talk. So yesterday the opinion of the court came down.
Yep. And
interestingly enough, and awesome, is that it was a 100% unanimous decision by all of the justices. Now, not only was it unanimous, but there were no dissenting opinions. Now, there were 4 concurring opinions. And it's a reason I put out on our Facebook page today the difference between and the information contained and when the SCOTUS puts out their opinion. they do a lot of case law that they quote, obviously, in their opinions, and especially in the concurring and dissenting opinions usually.
Yes.
So that's why I put that all out there today, because it refers to the case, the number, the volume of book it's in, the page numbers, so on and so forth.
And you can see that on our Facebook page.
Yeah, right. It's all on our Facebook page, and I'll be adding it to our website too. I added a couple things last night, and I'm going to add some more. But now the ones that were the great thing is, there were, like I said, there were 4 judges who did concurring. Now that was Alito, Kavanaugh, and hold on, I have it right here. And there was Roberts and somebody who actually wrote one together. I will find Thomas wrote, he actually read the opinion. Hold on, Roberts and Briar they basically did a same concurring opinion. So what is it? Concurring is basically what they did is, yes, they voted unanimously that yes, Mr. Coniglia's Fourth Amendment rights were 100% violated, and he was protected under the Fourth Amendment. Now, what 3 of the 4 justices, 2 of the concurrings, Kavanaugh's was pretty much in support. He basically just added on to the opinion a little bit. But the other ones did kind of hint to the fact that this may or may not have any effect on red flag laws and on certain stipulations under the caregiving, the community caregiving acts. So, however, they all agreed that a person's right to retreat to their home is 100% protected by the Fourth Amendment. Again, they didn't go quite as far as to say, sorry, I'm eyeballing, trying to get back to this thing. They did not go as far as to say that made red flag laws illegal. However, the beautiful thing about this, especially again being a unanimous, is this will go into case law. This very much opens the door, and I wouldn't even be surprised if they started today, if not, by the end of the week for sure, petitioning states that have red flag laws based on this particular opinion of the court, to get some of those abolished as well. Not saying it will, but it's kind of giving them the ammo.
Would that fall under the SCOTUS's ruling to send out those petitions, or would it be the citizens of those states?
So right saying, now,
hey,
so what would happen with this opinion, in my opinion, what's going to probably happen is people that have already been charged under a red flag law or had their things confiscated, so on and so forth, especially if the police cited the community care guidelines as part of the reason to get the red flag designation.
Right.
I would be willing to bet that they're going to cite this in case law, that their rights were violated under the Fourth Amendment. Now, will that work?
Here's the part that I'm seeing. Here's the part that I'm seeing on the socials and the TikToks and the videos. Mm-hmm. They're just putting headlines up. People are just going, look, the headline says that they can't do warrantless searches. That's the headline. Law enforcement can't do warrantless searches.
Yes.
But this explains to you, if you're paying attention to this explains to you that you actually got to go read the details.
Yes.
Because it doesn't mean they can't do this. It means that it definitely shouldn't be done. And this is a ruling that says it shouldn't be done. So when places start doing this, they can go, no, look, they said that's not okay.
Well, and they did and they didn't. That's the problem. So they're not saying they're not saying that red flag laws are unconstitutional. What they were distinguishing, that they're basically distinguishing this case, being that if they have not been given consent, if there was no violence, if there was no reason for them to come in, if there was no imminent danger, obviously, if somebody calls the police and says, "Hey, Mary was supposed to come over at dinner at 8 o'clock last night. She never called. She never canceled. We noticed her paper's still there again this morning. We'd like to well check her." They can, under the Community Care Act, still enter your home. Now, they cannot conduct a search. However, they can enter your home. So this does not get rid of the Community Care Act, but it is going, I'm telling you, people like 1851, constitutional lawyers are going to, in future cases, cite this case. Coniglia versus Strom will probably start being used a lot by, as much as I can't stand them, the NRA, probably Gun Owners of America, but I'm sure a lot of lawsuits that are pending in lower courts, making their way to the Supreme Court, this will become very, very powerful evidence in Supreme Court, as case law. This is very, very, important case law that will be used later on. And that's why it's almost so important that it was a unanimous decision. This wasn't a party lines thing, which I know it makes my skin crawl that we even have to say party lines in the Supreme Court, because that's just awful.
Right.
We should never even be mentioning that.
But tell me that doesn't give you a little bit of hope.
It's
a constitutional amendment.
It is.
The Fourth Amendment is being held. They're yes. saying no. That you literally just ripped this guy's Fourth Amendment out of his hands.
Yes. Yeah. And yes, and the fact that all the judges said yes, Mr. Coniglia's Fourth Amendment. They all. I mean, this is important that people. And I know there's justices that were like, ugh, when you hear their name and you want to vomit a little. I get it, but it's important to note that on this constitutional issue, I mean, an important one, especially given the current, state of affairs in our country, all of them said yes. You are protected in your home by the Fourth Amendment, flat out. You are protected in your home. So that's an important decision. And I encourage you to not only read the and I'll put it up. I don't think I put the opinion up. It's easy to find with the links I have put up, but read that, and then read the concurring, the three concurring, like I said, by Kavanaugh, Roberts, and Alito. Alito does dance around a little bit, but trying to make sure that hey, this doesn't mean red flag laws are illegal, but you kind of, if you read it, you're kind of like, but he's not saying they're legal either.
Let's go pessimistic. It'd just mean that for the red flag laws, they'll just have to get, some sort of proof from whoever's making the claim, get that in front of a judge, get a warrant for it, and then they can conduct the red flag. They'll just it just won't be warrantless. They'll just take the warrantless part of it out of the equation.
Agreed. And Dave, that's what I think this will curb some of the community care, because it is one that's been abused very often for this purpose, especially in these kind of cases where there was no actual violence, there was no person saying they were going to harm themselves or others. I think this will make police departments, especially, and then I'm not even so much concerned. I am, but I'm more concerned about the fact that this should plant a seed in federal authorities who think they can come confiscate your guns because you're just a radical. And you know, because that's where they use that community care thing. Well, we're doing it for the good of your neighbor. No, you better bring a warrant if you're going to do this. So I think if nothing else, it'll at least make them go through the process of getting a warrant. And I think it will make some of them think about it. So I really do think it will be a major change. And again, the more important thing is that it is rock solid case law. I mean, this is a win for the Constitution. This is what we put the justices out there for. Make a, you know, this was not a wishy-washy decision. This was not a, well, we're split, but it's, you know, we're going to rule for Coniglia. No, this was a flat out, yeah, hey, the Fourth Amendment says this. They violated it. He's right. The Constitution stands.
Right.
It's a big win.
And that's, I mean, did Coniglia, I can't say his name.
Coniglia.
Is that where he did something?
So Coniglia, so Coniglia, this is that, the long story short was Coniglia, you know, long story short. Coniglia and his wife had an argument. Coniglia bought a firearm out, sat it on the table. Mrs. Coniglia left. In the morning, she came back with the police. Mm-hmm. Police convinced Mr. Coniglia, hey, let's de-escalate this. You go to the hospital 24 hours. You know, we'll come back. He said, fine, I'll be the man. I will do this, but you promise me you're not going to confiscate my weapons because there's no reason to.
Yeah.
Yes, we won't confiscate them. He leaves. They go back, tell Mrs. Coniglia that he gave consent for them to take his weapons and did so without a warrant. So they entered his home without a warrant, without violence, without a without a call of violence, without a threat of violence, without a threat of him wanting to harm himself. In court, this was all talked about. You can find the lower court cases. And yet, still without a warrant, not only searched his home, but seized his weapons with,
Well, isn't that in the Fourth Amendment? Unlawful search and seizure?
Yes.
Well,
and they broke both.
So what I mean by the he did something is he got up and did something. So he realized
sorry.
He realized
I went off on a tangent there.
You're good.
Yes.
He realized they did something to him against his constitutional rights, and he did something by probably sacrificing a lot to push this all the way to Supreme Court.
Yeah, well, and that's the biggest point I had at this weekend is that he wasn't, now could he do it now? I suppose, but the more important thing, and he has said this several times, so I don't think he's going to. He said this was all about his rights. It was about getting the Supreme Court, or any court up until the Supreme Court even, to say, look, my rights were violated. He's not looking for compensation. He has his weapons back already. Mm-hmm. He is strictly doing this, yes, to stand up and say, this is wrong. This is not what our government is allowed to do. We have a constitution that says they can't do this, and they just went ahead and did it. Right. So yeah, he took his own time, money, whatever he had to take off of work. And I mean, I'm sure this has probably put a hurt on him, financially, physically, mentally, and all to stand up for not only his rights, but all of us. This is a win for, any American, mm-hmm. for that matter.
Right. And that's why I brought up the he got up and he did something.
Oh, and I'm just on a roll, so I figured I'd just keep talking.
Yeah, well, and that's. But we always talk about the you got to get up and do something, and a lot of and we talk about why don't you run for your local office? Why don't you go stand go to a rally or stand up for something you believe in. This guy stood up for his rights and everybody else's rights by saying, look, I want this to go the whole way, and he did. And yeah, that's
well, he took the steps necessary.
Yep.
In your opinion, Cosper, did it have to go to the Supreme Court? Could one of the lesser courts?
one of
the state
and that's
Supreme
the thing,
Court
and,
could they have made that determination?
yeah, well, and see, that was the thing, the lower courts all, the lower courts all said that the police were in the right of the community care, basically the community care guidelines, which is, that's like I said, the important thing. This is almost, and probably not for Coniglia himself, but for us, the fact that the lower courts agreed with the police department, and yet our highest court in the land said, because here's the thing, not only did the highest court in our land say no, they basically sent that ripple right down all those lower courts and said, you guys, you effers all got this wrong.
Yeah.
You got it wrong. This was a clear, and that, again, being that it was a unanimous decision, this is every justice in there saying, we don't care who you are or what you are in these lower courts, or what city you're in, whatever your Republican, Democrat lean, we don't care. You guys, not only did the police violate his Fourth Amendment rights, all those lower courts violated his Fourth Amendment right.
Yep.
That's what a unanimous decision really can mean. So that's why this is such a huge victory. Small in the war, yes, but it's a huge win.
Right. And the only reason I didn't try to get us to jump to the next subject is this kind of is current news as well. So I was kind of like, let this go.
And it is.
I don't think this is even 48 hours old.
No.
This is some of the most current we've ever talked about.
Well, and it's so weird. Like I said, it was so weird when I, when I got it across my SCOTUS feed that I was like, how weird is that? We talked about this all weekend.
3 days in a row, you're like, the ruling will come shortly. The ruling will be out shortly. They're working on the ruling. Should be out by Monday or I can't remember.
No, June. It wasn't supposed to come out till June. That's why I was like.
Yeah. So they're saying it's coming, next month, and they're over here going, actually, we've got a couple of extra things to say about that. So
and they just came out. I was like, which was, actually, I had the whole thing planned the whole time.
You had it in, right?
You had it on your back pocket, letting you know what was going on.
Yeah,
we'll just prep everybody.
Yeah, me and the Robes were talking over the weekend, and
these trips east aren't really to North Carolina, are they?
Yeah. He did not go to North Carolina the past 2 weeks. He's been in D.C.
But yeah, no, it was cool. I mean, and it was neat to see it all play out and listen to the, like I said, the concurring opinions. It's worth reading the concurring opinions because they don't poo-poo on the ruling, which a lot of time happens when you get one of these, then it would really be more of a dissenting opinion. But you can tell that, what's the most gentle way to put this?
Oh, just rip the Band-Aid off.
So some of the judges that may or may not lean a certain direction, by their concurring opinions, I think they see a little bit of the writing on the wall that this is going to be used as case law against red flag laws. Mm-hmm. They see it coming. And again, this is not, it does not, red flag laws are not in the same purview per se. They're along the same lines, and obviously a Fourth Amendment right is what people are going to argue.
Is that not where these headlines and the social media is using the headlines?
Oh yeah, they're completely going extreme as possible with these headlines.
Law enforcement cannot do warrantless searches. Well, that's red flag to anybody, to the normal person, to the person that's more concerned about football stats and baseball stats than they are with politics and law and case law in the Supreme Court. That headline says anything that's warrantless is not allowed by law enforcement. So red flag laws, they say they're warrantless. People say that. They don't know the nuance and the details of all of it. So for the average American, I guarantee you, we go to a rally tomorrow, that headline that came out, what was it, yesterday, and started making its rounds. You talk to anybody at one of these events, you talk to half a dozen people, and more than likely 11 out of those 12, 11 out of 12 people is going to tell you that no, they can't do red flag laws.
Right. Right. And again, this will, I can't imagine. I'll play a little Nostradamus here. Only because I know,
I don't have the right hat for that.
Well, I know. Well, I don't have I could do the boot guy. I got a boot somewhere.
Oh, okay.
But so I already know for sure that 1851 in Columbus, I know for sure the NRA, I know for sure Ohio gun owners, who, by the way, not Ohio gun owners, I'm sorry, gun owners of America, who of which they were a big part of bringing this case to the Supreme Court. So people should also look that up. So this is kind of a, they were very, intricate into working. I don't know if they put up some of the money for lawyers and stuff like that, but they did help. But I know Gun Owners of America and a couple other organizations, I know they already have lawsuits that they planned on taking to the Supreme Court, and this will be a big boost to their argument, a big boost. And now those ones are going after red flag laws.
Nice.
Okay.
That's
where you're saying the writing on the wall. There's
yes.
They have to know that.
Yes, the two concurring opinions, again, by Alito and by Roberts. If you read them, you can tell they're like, hey, yes, his rights were violated, but this is not the same as red flag laws. But you can tell by the tone that they wanted to go, but we know you're going to use this against us.
Yeah. I've come to the realization that the use of "but" is a very unilateral usage. It doesn't matter if you're going left, right, center, or any of it. Everybody throws the "but." I would do this, but I would do that, but it's gonna do this, but.
Drailed, I would say that is probably, I'd say that's probably going to be up to our next governor, whoever that might be.
Yeah, this governor's not going
to. Well, we're that's not a hole I'm going to willingly go down today.
Why not?
Me and Cosper had our conversation, standing listening to the. What would I even say to a potential elected official?
I'd say he's running. I mean, he's a candidate.
A running member. If you haven't heard his name, look up Joe Blystone. He's out of Canal Winchester, Ohio. He's running. He's a farmer. He's a business owner. He's just a guy.
Yeah,
he'll tell you that he's just a guy. He'll
so
tell
what
you
was your, we talked a little, but what, and then I'll give a little, I mean, it's a current event too. So what was your overall impression of him, and compared to, obviously the other two choices are, and I don't know how much you know about Renacci, but he's a Republican from up here. Okay. And then obviously DeWine.
Right.
Where does he fit? Where does he fit on that?
He's just a rhino and Democrat clothing, and
yes,
covering that up with rhino again. Don't know that much about Renacci. Blystone, I've met him personally long before he decided to run. His talking points, we had a discussion before we went live. I feel like that would be me standing up there. I say what I say, and if you don't like it, don't like it. There was a few things he said that kind of made me scratch my head and go, but that's, the complete opposite of what you're trying to say. That's
fair.
We don't want the mask thing came up a lot. That's obviously a buzzword.
Yeah. Did you feel he was maybe at times and maybe it's because of the area, because I haven't seen. I've got to catch more of his lives to kind of see if he plays to the crowd.
He's got
audience.
he's got a few events up here by us, Cosper.
Oh, does he? Good.
Meet and greets.
Oh, cool. I have to go to one. But did you feel that some of that was placating to maybe the crowd he was in Vinton County, or no? Is he playing to that area?
Like we found down there, you'd walk into the restaurant, you'd walk into the gas station. Nobody cared about the mask. Why are you bringing it up? If nobody down there cares to begin with, why are you bringing it up like it's a thing?
Right. Agreed.
So there was that one.
Was he too? And it does. I know it doesn't matter to some, but was he? Was the religious stuff a little over the top for you?
For most, I would probably say no. For me, it was like, I get it. Don't force it down my throat. I see where you're coming from. Fair. You do you, bud. I'll do me. We can work together. Just don't tell me I have to do you.
Yeah. Did you think it was a little too? Let me see if I can do this right. Curly. Do you know where I'm going?
I'm lost on. I think that one's up.
Curly talked to us once down in your area at an event.
Oh, got it. Okay. Jerry, got it. No, I don't.
No? Okay.
Did you?
No, I did not. But I didn't know you kind of.
I wasn't picking up.
You kind of got that look a couple times.
Those vibes are way worse than Blystone's vibes. But Blystone's vibes are.
It's just who he is.
I don't want Joe can come fight me. That's fine. Joe can find me. I'm down the street. Matter of fact, if he still has my phone number from when I worked for the cable company, he can call me. That reminded me more of a Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's what that reminded me of. Okay. A lot of, I saw it, I read it, I seen it. Now I don't think that's right, and I'm going to talk about it.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, I found him to be I found him to be pretty genuine, and I thought that's what, and again, I'm a very faith-based person. May not always act like it, I guess, but I'm more of a faith-based than a religious person. I didn't take his to be, I thought he was explaining who he was, not like that other person that I mentioned, was Jerry, this is Jerry. How you are going to be. So I thought that was I thought he was very genuine. I thought he had a lot of good things to say. Again, didn't agree with everything he said. I was a little concerned about him wanting to get government into big business a little too much than a little more than I prefer. But I get where he was going. I understand, but I'd like to hear more from him about, because I may have just taken it wrong, which is possible. But that was my only main concern.
You can't say that the two of us have two different sets of ears, two different brains to hear what's being said. And we both pretty much heard him say that they were mandated to put the masks on and they complied. And I would mandate that they don't put the masks on. So it's the same principle, just in reverse. Yeah,
a little bit.
That's what he said.
And to me, that was a little too much. That wasn't let's work together. That was, hey, it's my way. It was the exact opposite of
what he did.
It wasn't a choice. He wasn't going to make it.
It was the exact opposite of what he did for his business.
Yes,
he put a sign on it, and he stood there and said it. He put a sign on his business. He's got a butcher shop restaurant there in Canal Winchester, and he put a sign on the door that said, if you are not comfortable with being in the presence of unmasked employees and staff, do not patronize my establishment.
And he basically said, hey, and he put it very, eloquently that, hey, that's, basically, I respect your opinion, and sorry to lose your business, but this is how I'm going to conduct my business.
Here's
he
what's
did
really
say-
funny though.
Yeah.
A lot of the Amish, a lot of the businesses up here, up by Casper specifically, where all the Amish are,
Yeah.
they all have signs up that state majority of people coming in will not be wearing masks. We
Yep.
will not force them to wear a mask. If you are not
Yep.
comfortable, please find another establishment. Because
Yeah.
the Amish won't
And
wear
he-
masks. Like, they refuse to.
Right.
He made a statement thereafter saying, "This is what I did with my business. I just put this sign out." He said, if I lost one customer, I gained 10 more.
Yeah.
For every one lost, he gained 10 more.
But he doesn't, rather than, and that was my only thing that I found was a little, rather than empowering businesses to have that ability to choose, he just wanted them all to, hey, no mask if people don't want to, which I don't, I don't 100% agree in the fact that I think much like, and I take crap for this all the time, but I'll take the hit. If an establishment does not want armed people in their business because it's they don't feel comfortable around guns, they're not gun owners, so on and so forth, I don't have a problem with them putting on a sign on the door. Now, will I go into that establishment? Probably not. More than likely not. But I don't think the government should force them to do so. It's their business, and it's
Do
their
you remember as a kid ever getting told to pick your battles?
Yes.
Okay.
I still get told that by my wife.
And I feel like that's what's going on right now. Is like I said to the gentleman while we were down at the tent talking after one of our talks. You're a CHL holder, yes? Are you willing? Are you walking into a business that has a sign that says guns not allowed in the store, or do you go to another business? And he was like, well, I go to the other business. There's apps, there's websites, there's entire groups that are devoted to saying these stores say no guns, go to this store, this or that, whatever it is. If this mask thing, if you really sit back and think about it, it's the exact same thing.
I tend to agree.
There are businesses out there that are saying you must wear a mask. There are businesses out there that say, we don't care. You do you, bud. So if you have to go to this business that says has a mask and there's one right next door selling the same stuff with no mask mandate, you don't want to wear a mask, then go to the one without the mask.
Palmer, I like that challenge, by the way.
Oh yeah, that Palmer brought that up at the yeah, I thought that was a good one. Oh, and speaking of, real quick before I forget, because it popped back in my head. So two gentlemen that were there from Pennsylvania asked me, they talked to Jacob and I after the show, after our show there, and were wondering about not necessarily somebody writing a letter for them, but they wanted to know, how do you write to your congressman, how do you write to your state representatives, your local representatives, without it being something that could possibly come back on them. What's the language, what have you done? So with that in mind, and they wondered, is there something out there? Is there, and I don't know if there is. I mean, all the big ones do, Gun Owners of America and all those guys. They all have form letters.
Buckeye Firearms Association.
Yeah, they have a form. But yeah, I am working on a very general letter that I feel is honest. It's precise. It's not threatening. And there'll be areas where you put your own thoughts and feelings in. So I'm going to create kind of a nice template that, this is letters I have written. This is how I've worded it. go with, because again, he was worried about, repercussions of,
Right.
of things happening to him if he expressed his opinion, but he wants to express his opinion to his
Well,
representative.
did we not just have that talk before the show? My opinion and your opinion are two different things.
Right, exactly.
My mind does not work like your mind, and if I said what I think and you
Yes,
said what you think,
non-confrontational, Mike.
I'd go to jail, you'd go to home.
Yeah. I mean, and so I am working on, and I'm going to work with some other people I know that do business type letters often, and I'm starting to put something together so that will come out eventually on our website and on our Facebook page and things like that. But I am working on something like that because I think it's a great idea. Now, if you are good at that kind of thing, is what we talked about. Go and you can go to our website and find in the link section. Is I think under Defender Friends and stuff. I changed some things around a little bit. But in there you'll find links to us.gov so you can find out who your representatives are. And I encourage you. And again, there are some I know very generic form letters out there. You could start with those, or simply just introducing yourself, who you are, what your concerns are. And again, I think Mike Lucchini said it perfect. It non-confrontational is the best way to go. And don't worry about it being, I think too many people want it to be too polished. You don't want it to be polished because you don't want it to be a form letter per se. You want it to be how you feel. Now I say how you feel, but that doesn't mean, I don't know, after a certain plumber we know's had, a couple of cocktails and he's looking at his current inventory and then he decides to write a letter. No, bad time to write a letter. Bad time. Bad time.
Early morning, no hangover.
Yeah. Pick another time. But
late evening, heavily induced, bad time.
Bad time. But put a feeling in, put your feeling, you want your feelings into it because you want it to be genuine. And just tell them how you feel about the way things are. And not only do you write those letters, but then try, when you have time, try and find out when you can meet with your representatives. Because again, I think that's an important thing. And we talked about that a lot this weekend as well.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. I was actually going through the Defenders Friends and More thing, and some of the pictures from the More rally popped up, so it was kind of funny to
I know.
Talking. I was like, oh my god.
I know, right? I was looking at him last night like, whoa.
Been a few years.
It's been a few.
Yeah, but it's funny, to see Mark Robinson in there and Marjorie, and it's pretty cool.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, and that was just us getting involved. I mean, that was, and we've met these people firsthand.
Right.
And they've gone on to do amazing things. I mean, one's a representative now and one's a lieutenant governor.
Right.
Yep. And we just met them when they were regular people.
And they're still regular people. I mean, if you walk up to them and talk to them like a normal person, they're just going to sit there and talk to you like a normal person.
That's the thing. I'll put money down. The thing we're doing, August?
Yep.
Is it August?
September.
The thing we're doing in August.
September.
Mark Robinson will be there.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
Well, did you or did you not say that there was a potential for Congress people to be there?
There are, as of right now, I think there's 2 state representatives, and I can't.
I'll bet you Marjorie
local
Taylor
to
Greene.
the area. Not Marjorie.
I bet you Greene's possibly one of them.
Not as I haven't seen her name yet, but it wouldn't shock me.
It would not shock me
because
at all.
it is obviously is right in Virginia, right across the street. So possible, completely possible.
Well, and they all got to know each other. That's where the whole thing was. I mean, the same people we saw at Mar the year before were similar to the same people that we saw, if not all of them, at the event in 2019.
Yeah, agreed.
Or in 2019. They didn't do it in 2020. COVID,
Yeah.
So I'm willing to bet that's what we're looking at. So to go to it, they're still regular people.
Oh yeah.
And that's
it's fun, and that's why I hate missing the events like what happened last weekend or the events we've done in Virginia because of work and stuff. Because I know you're gonna meet some people that sooner or later you're gonna be like, hey, I talked to that guy.
Yeah,
I've shook hands with that guy.
yeah, it is. Yeah, and it is.
I've broke bread with an assistant governor. I have sat and talked with a sitting congresswoman.
Yep.
And it's just and I wasn't there being political. I was there doing a job.
Yeah. Well, and even some of the other people, Presley, he's been doing a bunch of work in California, doing, I think he's getting ready to maybe even run now for a position.
God. What was her name? What was her name?
Which one?
The transgender patriot.
Aaron?
Yes. Aaron. Wasn't she running for?
I think she was running
in California.
Yeah, something.
So I don't know if she got it or not.
I don't know. I haven't seen her much. I think she got taken down from.
Surprising, huh?
Shocker. But yeah, I know.
Surprise face.
But,
oh my God.
Right, and you guys will recognize the picture that pops up on your screen here in a minute when you're watching the show. But
it's the one where we cut each other out.
No, it's a good one.
No,
Don't
it's
worry.
the full. That one's the full one. But
yeah,
the joke is Cosper did it first. No, Jake did it first because
you guys
to
cut
put
each
it as a
other out.
profile picture.
Yeah.
To put it as a profile picture, it wouldn't take the whole picture of all four of us.
Oh.
So Cosper's profile picture was himself, Roger, and his wife. Mine was Roger, his wife, and myself. So it was the running gag for over a year was who did it first, and it was neither one of us really did it first. We did it about the same time.
Yeah, about the same time.
Put it on there.
Yep, for sure.
We are past the top of the hour.
All right.
Thank you everybody for watching that's still here, and the one person that just back arrived. If you got dumped, I do apologize. I think we dropped a little bit throughout the show, so if there was a little hiccup, I apologize. There was nothing I could do on my end. It did notify me though. But thank you too for your time on every Tuesday, like always.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, and I think I should be pretty good sailing from here on out, so we shouldn't have too many more Tuesdays to miss. So.
Right. Nice. Yeah, because we're pretty
Well,
clear for a while.
keeps up with the game.
The game. Okay.
I'm just about caught up with my crap. So
nice. So, and then everybody, we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Like, share, subscribe, share to your family, share to your friends, whether you like them or not.
Bring friends, damn it.
Whether they agree with you or not.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, during, before, after, bring them along. Who knows?
You might all learn something together. You never know.
If you have any questions on anything we talked about, and we haven't pointed you completely in the direction you want, you feel you want, contact us on the website, contact us on Facebook, contact us here on YouTube as well. We will answer. One of us will answer you. One of the three of us. And everybody, thank you again, and be safe and have a good week.
See ya.